So here is the Pyro Guard robot for our robot swarm. Our robot swarm, the goal is to aid firefighters within helping put out fires. You know, there's been a lot recently, so it is a cool issue to tackle. So this is our stationary robot. Essentially, its goal is to scan an area and detect whether a fire is happening or not. This is going to help for early fire detection and contacting the first responders, and also aiding the other robots in navigating their whole entire the course that they're going to take. So we have 4 ultrasonic distance sensors over here to see how far we're measuring this temperature and everything like that. We have our temperature sensors on all 4 sides as well. Essentially, we're going to gather data from here. We're going to read it. We're going to be able to see it on our serial monitor, and then we're going to have some calculations in there, so we can see whether a fire is happening or not. We have our piezo here. I hope I am saying that right. This is actually my 3rd time recording this because this has been way too loud. It's been cutting out my voice, and I did not adjust the levels. So, and then we have our LED. Our LED is just more of a visual thing. These are for our emergency protocols. So if a fire is detected, this piezo is going to sound, and this LED is going to turn on. We also have a motor right here for our emergency fire retardant system. Essentially, this is going to spray a fire retardant out if the fire gets a little bit too close to the a little bit too close to the robot. We're going to go ahead and look into the code and see how this all looks. So we have everything over here. We have our main loop, our setup over here, making sure all our pins are correct. And we have our 2 methods over here, which is our get temperature and our get distance. Is going to print out all the data that we need in order to interpret if there's a fire or not. This is our emergency protocol over here. This is essentially saying, hey, is the temperature a little bit too high over there? Is it a little bit too close? If it is, then it's going to activate that emergency protocol. So let's go ahead and start a simulation. So we can see first off that all our sensors are turning on. So our sensors are initialized, amazing. And then our systems are going to go online. So now we have all this data that we have. So we have our distance in feet, how far it is, and then our temperature in Celsius, right? So this is a small form of what the actual robot's going to be doing. So the numbers are not going to be exact to what they are. Fires actually start at a much higher temperature. But for simulation purposes, everything of how this robot will work works correctly. So we have our data that we're analyzing, that we're scanning in our given area. This is happening every 5 seconds, refreshing all the time. It's in this main loop. So essentially, what happens if we see that the temperature gets a little bit too hot in an area? So let's use this area over here, for example, right? So we can see the temperature over here. We're going to bring that up all the way to 125 degrees Celsius. So we're going to hear, I'm just going to turn that down just in case that cuts out my audio. But as you saw, the piezo went off. The audio, very annoying, very loud, is in our emergency protocol. So essentially our emergency protocol starts, the audio goes off, the LED turns on, and then we also have a message. So I'm going to do it one more time so we can read that message one more time. Oop. So it says that a fire is detected and we are contacting the local fire department. Perfect. So next situation we're going to look at is if there's a fire and it gets a little bit too close, is our emergency fire retardant system going to deploy? So let's look at that. Cool. So what happened there is the fire got a little bit too close to us, right? So it got within those 3 feet. Realistically on the model is going to be if it gets within 30 feet. But it got a little bit too close. And what we saw on the monitor is that the emergency fire retardant was deployed. Here, I'm going to do that one more time so we can see that on the monitor. So we're going to make that real close and we're going to see what happens. So we see that the emergency fire retardant was deployed. So yeah, that is the Pyro Guard. Thank you.